Jonathan in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Thanks for calling the Line of Fire.
Okay, I see that you got your show and it's called Jewish Thursdays. That kind of rounds me up a little bit because I'm a I'm a what they call a African American, and I believe the people in Israel are imposters. They're not the real Jews, and that Negroes are actually the real Jews.
So does it bother you that that's not according to facts and according to history, sir? That that's a myth? Does that bother you at all?
No, no, not really. That it's just that I understand that there's people in power that uphold a system. You know what I'm saying? That really can't be penetrated in that sense. But I have
No, I'm
biblical
just talking about
proof.
I'm talking
Oh,
about facts and history, sir. I don't.
oh, oh,
Yeah. I'm just talking about
say it
facts and
over. The
history.
facts of
Yeah,
history.
doesn't it bother you that what you said is false historically? That the Jewish people in Israel can trace their lineage back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and that although there are certainly black skinned people and white skinned people who have become part of the larger nation of Israel, they were Middle Eastern people. So Israelites were not originally Negro and they were not originally white. So I'm just asking if it bothers you that you're saying things that are not factually true. That's all.
No, no, because I disagree. Because they actually were Negro, and what I'm saying is I have the proof of that, and
Ah,
I also have the proof of the people in Israel. I have biblical, geographical, and scientific proof in
ah.
Jewish literature that speaks on those people being converts, being converted.
Ah.
I have the different doctors who done the DNA test for
Oh,
these people. I
so let's
have the
start.
Jewish encyclopedias.
Yeah. Okay. So since this is my field of expertise, sir, I'm thrilled to hear that you've done research. So let's talk about those who trace themselves back to Aaron the priest, who have the priestly DNA. It's been uniquely found to go back to individuals at the time of Moses, and and it's Jewish people. It's not. It's sadly it's not Negroes or blacks, but it's those who identify as Jewish people today who can trace their DNA back to Aaron. And there is zero DNA support for the Khazar theory that today's Jews are converts from this group in Turkey, wherever else they would have been, Armenia, etc. So there's zero support for that as far as DNA. So I'm all for it. Let's argue DNA, sir.
Okay, well, what the support is this doctor in 2001, Aurelia Oppenheim. She was a biologist from Hebrew University. She tested those Jews, and the test results was 95% of those Jews, that claim this, that they are, these people of God from the Bible are converts and come from the bloodline of what's called Khazaria.
No. That has been
So
refuted 1,000 times over, sir. All the top DNA specialists in the world have rebuked that. It is linguistically not true. It is geographically not true. It is historically not true. It is scientifically not true. This is a myth, sir.
how?
Hey, all right,
Can you
tell
prove
you
that
what, you know
those
how many
things are not
myths?
true?
Can I ask you a question, Jonathan? Do you know how many
Yeah.
myths there are about blacks? How many evil, ugly things people have believed about blacks and Africans over the centuries? Ugly things, foul things. Many
Oh
Americans
yeah.
have, all right, the same thing about the Jews, sir. We get lied about. That. Why do you think Hitler tried to wipe us out, 6 million of us? It's not because we were some converts from somewhere else. It's because he knew who we were, Jews. So all I
Oh,
want to
so
go
you
is
claim to
by
be Jew
facts.
too?
Yeah, all I want to go is by facts. I've had my DNA tested. I'm thoroughly Jewish. It's verified, and we can trace things back, and ultimately goes all the way back to Israel. So why make it an issue of skin color, sir? Because Jesus wasn't black and Jesus
Okay.
wasn't white.
Okay. This is the reason why. I'm not sure if you understand this or not, but for the people who are considered to be African Americans in America, most of those people uh, throughout the oppression of slavery and being pushed into the worst neighborhoods, what's now called the ghettos, grew up hopeless and not being told that they were less and inferior to whites, and everything of the
It's
world
terrible. Absolutely terrible.
black being made to be inferior. So
Yeah.
you have all these people feeling hopeless, feeling like there is no God, God doesn't love them, etc. But then every picture that they ever see of who God, the Creator, or His Son is, they're always white, blonde hair,
Yes,
blue
sir.
eyes. Every movie, every TV show, every coloring book,
Inexcusable.
every picture.
Inexcusable. Yep, inexcusable.
Okay, and so and the point that I'm bringing that up is that because when someone sees that, from a child all the way up to a grown age, and they're still seeing it, there's a message that's being conveyed with that. They're saying there's someone who has some type of authority and control to put these images on media and to put it on books. Someone has the authority and the control to do that. So the people who's doing that are trying to convey a message by doing that. Okay, and so
Yeah, so Jonathan, let
that's
me
the
just
message.
let me just jump in. I've talked about this as well. I'm sympathetic to it. I've said several times already that Jesus wasn't black or white, and that of course it's wrong to convey him as some Caucasian, European, etc. But what I want to point out, sir, is this: that you can go back into the Middle Ages. All right, so go back into Europe, and they would paint pictures of Jesus and make him totally non-Jewish, and they would make the Jews to look these evil beings, and they weren't black, by the way. They'd make them into these evil beings, and Jesus was somebody separate from them. So that's the real issue. And what we need to do is white, black, red, yellow, is to come together and say we all need God, we all fall short, we all need a savior. And if Jesus was a black man or a white man or a Chinese man or a Native American man or Hispanic man, whoever he was, Indian man, I'd bow down before him in worship because of who he is, not because of the color of his skin. So can we at least,
I agree.
we can agree on that. All right, good. Can I send you a free copy of a book and then you can look at it and we can talk again in the future? Could I do that?
I never really got like my first point about Ariella. You didn't give me, like, I would love for you to give me the people who debunked her. You said that was debunked and that was
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
myth.
Sure thing. I've written on Khazar. So tell you what, Jonathan, if you will just give Rachel or a call screener, if you'll just give her a contact place, email or something like that, I'll have some
Okay.
articles sent to you that'll directly touch on that. All right. So if you give her that, we won't
Okay.
put you on any email list or anything like that, because I know you're taking this seriously and you've studied and things like that. So if you do that, I'm going to put you on hold. Just give her that, and she'll send it to us and just say, this was Jonathan from Green Bay, and we'll get you some things to look at that refute the Khazar theory. But I agree with you in the utter abhorrence of the way blacks were treated in our history. I agree with this whole thing of making Jesus into the preeminent white man to keep the black man out is abhorrent and ugly. I repudiate that with you. But when you start off saying, Jews in Israel are imposters, obviously, with all we've suffered and all that's come against us being Jews, I'll take exception to that. But stay right there. Rachel will talk with you. Paul, any thoughts on that call?
Hmm. Um, you're the expert. I just came from West Africa, and I find people all over the world, Mike, and I know you do too, whether it's China or Africa, who have so related to the Jewishness of the gospel and the scriptures that they try in some fashion to become Jews or become more Jewish. And we are in such a time, Mike, where the place of the nations, the gift of God to the nations of being who they are, and provoking Israel to jealousy in their worship, in their expressions, is just so far above something else of refuting the Jewishness of the Jews and the place of the Jew, that I'm finding a time where the nations are beginning to wake up to the gift of God of being in the nations. I think of Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof when he looks up in the sky, pushing his broken down wheelbarrow down a dirt road, and he says, if this is being chosen, couldn't you have chosen somebody else?
Exactly. Exactly.
What a great statement.
Yeah, and it is interesting, Paul, that as Jewish roots of the faith are recovered, it's bringing in people from around the world who connect well there. By the way, over on YouTube, Stacy, telling me I'm European or English, German lineage. No, actually not. By the way, there's obviously been intermarriage over the centuries, and people in different cultures have converted and married in. They've married in to the stock from Israel. So of course it's intermarriage. That's why you have Jews looking somebody like Chinese, black, white, different. Sure, that's part of it. Marriage in, that's happened. We'll be right back.